Right, and joining us now for Mad Markets is Paul Theron, the CEO of Vestact. Thank you so much, Paul. Great to have you on the program. So, interesting news and insights into Goldman Sachs.
Fantastic story.
Yes, after Greg Smith resigns and decides to write a very telling story about what actually happens in the company.
Yeah,
so it's toxic.
Breaking all over the world. So this morning, a guy called Greg Smith writes a New York Times op-ed, basically saying that Goldman Sachs, you know, he's been there for 12 years and it's the most terrible internal environment. Lots of fabulous stories or anecdotes where he talks about how the main goal of the lead employees was to work out how they could fleece their clients for the most amount of money. And they commonly referred to their clients as Muppets. In other words, let's take the Muppets for whatever we can. So this is widely being referred to on Wall Street as Muppet Gate, which is quite amusing. But the interesting thing for us is that there's a South African connection. This guy is a South African who went overseas, studied at Stanford, then went on and worked for Goldman Sachs. But, you know, people's reaction to this have been twofold. Those that hate Goldman Sachs or think that they rip off their clients are absolutely loving the story and sending it to all of their friends. Those that think you've got to be mad to leave a job like that after having earned countless millions of dollars of bonuses and then write a story like this. This is like the equivalent of totally burning your bridges. You know, writing an editorial in the major national newspaper saying how horrible your former employee is.
Maybe he's made enough money that he doesn't actually need to worry about work
exactly.
ever again.
And it's spawned a whole range of spoofs which are hell of amusing. One of them is a Daily Mash, which is a website in the UK, which has written a whole story about how Darth Vader, the Star Wars character, is writing to announce that he is leaving the evil empire because it is no longer true to its values.
But Paul, I mean, it's been no secret that there's been a lot of criticism on Goldman Sachs for quite some time. And the truth is that, you know, a company wanting to make as much profits as possible is not only inherent to Goldman Sachs, but to every other company that exists on this planet, surely.
Again, so some people, as you say, have been saying, well, how other do you expect bankers to behave? Goldman Sachs itself, incidentally, has said that this guy is more junior than he's giving himself out to be, and it's ridiculous because that's definitely not the values of the company. They only succeed if their clients succeed, is what the official line from Goldman is.
Do you have a specific name for your clients, Vestact?
We definitely don't refer them as Muppets, but I must say some of them are quite irritating. Look, as far as the Goldman issue is concerned, there's a little bit of the tall poppy syndrome. In other words, they're the biggest guys on Wall Street, so they get the knocks. But I think in large part they are as significant as they are because of the power they have and the reach that they have in terms of distribution. So people want to deal with them. So I think this thing is going to blow over in a couple of days. But, you know, nobody loves bankers these days.
Okay, so Sasol is, unable to sustain 400, sitting at 384.
Look, I think it's interesting because clients have been phoning me and saying those were spectacular, stellar results. How can you have a situation where earnings are up 70% on last year and then the share price plummets from 410 Rand back to 380? How does it work? What does it mean? The market is rigged. What the hell's going on here? I said to them, no, look, you've got to calm down and wait and see what's going on here. First of all, Sasol did a trading update 3 months ago in which they said these results would be at this level.
So it was anticipated.
Exactly. And if you look at the price charts of Sasol compared to other resources companies, it's been stronger than the rest of the peer group for a couple of months, reflecting this positivity. In the results themselves, there were a couple of items relating to the amount that they've spent on North American gas assets and then issues around like gas prices being low and so on and so forth. So it's a little bit of kind of anticipating the news, running up the share price, settling back on the news itself. So people have got to get through their heads the idea that the movement on the day is not necessarily reflective of the numbers, you know.
I'm sure those that bought at 410 would be slightly irritated right now. I think that's perhaps where it's coming from. I don't know what you were advising your guests then.
Always buy Sasol irrespective of the price is the correct advice.
Okay, so Paul.
Yes.
Implat's CEO says no cash,
What
no
a wonderful
shares.
segue from my story to the other comment. I mean, the Implat's thing is the exact opposite of the point I'm trying to illustrate. The Zimbabwean news comes through and it's like the whole thing is off, you know, the deal is off, you know, and they're going to lose big 30% stake in Zimplat. So the share price goes up. People are like, how can that be? Well, the actual reality of this is that this is a disaster for the company, but it's been seen coming. The share price has moved from 200 Rand a share right down to 155, 160. Then the news comes out, then it's kind of in the market, it's in the wash, and then the share price starts to go back up again. It's perfectly
So the Zimbabwean government
obvious.
is going to have a 31% stake.
Well, you know, who knows what the hell's going to happen there. I think, in fact, some sneaky deal has been done in terms of which the equity will exchange hands. But Impala will have some kind of thing where if they pay for the mine to be developed, that will have to be financed and paid for. It's all about politics, I think, not so much about the economics.
Thank you so much, Paul. Great to have you on the program.